and it's how they use them in the industry as well. Now, a lot of machines nowadays, they do come with this free arm system, so it's an absolute ideal thing to have as a feature on your sewing machine. This brings me over now to the feet that a sewing machine would use. Now, I have here a selection of feet. Okay, these are the ones that I use most of the time, and are the ones which are the most used in the industry, I would say. So, first of all, we have here foot, which is a button sewing on foot. Okay, it basically sews on buttons, so that's a button sewing on foot. We have here a concealed zip foot. Now, as you can see underneath, it's got specially designed grooves to be able to turn the coil of the concealed zip footer. So this is an absolute ideal foot, perfect for sewing on concealed zips within skirts and dresses and trousers. We have here a buttonhole foot. This is a manual buttonhole foot for this particular sewing machine, so it means that you can go through the process of each part of the buttonhole. So this is a buttonhole foot, and we have here the automatic buttonhole foot, and what that does is it sews the buttonhole in one operation. So you press your foot on the pedal and it will sew the button in one go. And here we have a jeans foot, which is basically for sewing thicker fabrics. Okay, as you can see here, we have a small hole where the needle goes through, whereas on the sewing machine itself here, this is a zigzag foot, as you can see, where the needle goes in there, and it's not as a secure thing when you're going through really thick fabrics, whereas that, as you can see, has just got a small hole just here, so it gives the needle more of a security and less chance of the needle breaking, because here there is movement for the needle to go, whereas with here there isn't. It just goes straight through the hole, and this foot tends to protect that a lot more. Now, I'm going to show you here also that the way to change the foot on this particular sewing machine is really, really easy. It just goes straight on like that, and I bring the lever down here and the foot's on. If I open the lever up, bring the foot off, you can interchange the feet and put the other one on as well. Now, there is various other feet, like a zipper foot and a flat felt seam foot. There is blind feet, blind hemming feet, roller feet for leather. There is a huge range of feet available in the industry, and then you've got your more elaborate feet like the walking foot and the ruffler, and again, these are all different feet for different projects that you will be doing while you're sewing. Right, the needle of the sewing machine is a very important part of a sewing project as well, because you have different sizes and thicknesses for the different thicknesses of cloths. Okay, now the general rule to use for most sewing projects would be a size 90 needle. Okay, but they go from 70, so they go 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, and I think there's 120 as well, but I'm not too sure on that. But the most times that I use a needle is I always have a 90 in there, and you can tell where to see the size of the needle, because it is just imprinted just on here on the base of the needle itself here, which goes into the machine itself. Okay, it's always stamped on there. Now, with a machine needle as well, you have a groove which goes down to the hole on one side, and then on the other side it's rounded. Okay, but on the top of here, on the base, you've got it where it's flat, and then underneath it's rounded. Okay, so you can see exactly where the sewing machine needle goes into the machine itself, because the flat part will be together onto the flat part of the machine as well, and the rounded part will be facing the opposite way to the flat part. Now, basically, with a sewing machine, where the groove is, always make sure you've got the groove in the correct place, because otherwise you will pucker your fabric, your stitching of the thread, because sometimes the thread can pucker, and I've had it many a time. People are asking me, why is the thread puckering and why is the thread not lying correctly when you stitch it on the cloth? And all it is, simply they've put the needle in the wrong way around. So that's a real good tip to have, is make sure that your needle is in the correct way around in the sewing machine itself. So we covered the basics of the sewing machine. We've covered the feet and the needles and the basic workings of the sewing machine. Now you must remember that I've been showing you this model, the Bernina Artista 180, and they do differ from model to model, but generally they are the same throughout. You've got your needle and your foot together, you have the bobbin and the spool holder underneath, and most machines have a free arm, so they are the same principles throughout each sewing machine. And just remember, buy the machine which you feel comfortable with and the one that you like best.